Hello and welcome. My name is Saja Brown, and today we're going to be talking about waiting on God. And the reason why I chose this topic as a topic for today's video is because of some events that transpired yesterday. I have a little bit of a story to tell you guys, so I'm just going to jump right in and begin to tell it. Um, so that way you could really understand where yesterday factors into the theme for today's video, right? All right, so if you guys know me, if you know the channel, you know that I'm actually very punctual. Like I am very punctual. Of everybody in my house, everybody knows me to be the person who is super punctual. My room is always clean. Like I kid you not, my room is literally never dirty. It is always clean. I always have my room vacuumed. I cannot have mess around me. Everything around me needs to be clean at all times. Like I am such a germaphobe. It is actually insane. Like I don't like mess. I don't like being around mess. I don't like being messy, as in my life is messy, like things are not organized. Like I love organization. I'm the person who is not going to arrive 30 minutes late. I'm arriving 15 minutes early. Like that's me. Like I'm leaving on time. Like I'm planning my routes. I'm planning the weather. I'm planning what I'm going to wear. I'm always on I'm always on a time clock. I'm always on a time clock. So when I'm not on a time clock, child, that is very stressful. And these past 2 weeks, y'all, procrastination has hit me. Like I am not a procrastinator. I get my work done. I plan ahead. I make a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to Z. Like I'm the one who always has everything done. In these past 2 weeks, it's been like a force. It's been like a force on me where in part it's due to the fact that I have more stuff to do than usual. Like I have so much that's picking up in my life. Glory be to God. Thank God for that. I prayed for days like this. I forget the rest of the song, but you know what song I'm talking about. But no, seriously, I pray for days like this. And I'm currently living in answered prayers. I'm currently living in answered prayers. So, of course, with answered prayers comes a level of performance that you need to have. And I'm not accustomed to having to do certain things that I now have to do. So, procrastination hit me. So this entire week, I've kind of just been using all my spare time as me time. Like, I'm currently absolutely obsessed with Love Island. Like, I am obsessed with Love Island. I've been tuning in. Everybody's tuning in right now, but I've been tuning in like every single week, 9 p.m. I am there. Like, I am there. And I am going to be in the thick of it. Like, like I am tuning in, and that's been my thing. That's been like my comfort show for the past week or so. And the next episode comes out later tonight, but that's whatever. Let me getting off track. But like I said, I've been procrastinating and I've been finding my joys in other places. So now come Saturday, which is the day that I record for you guys because I upload on Sunday, I am like, what am I gonna do? I don't have anything to say to them. Like I don't have anything to say to them. And for the past 2 weeks, I've been in this like little procrastination bumble. So I don't even know, like I don't feel the Lord leading any of the words that I could speak to you guys. Like I don't feel any leadership from the Lord in anything. And when that happens, I get in a rut and I start panicking because like I said, I'm always on time. So again, panicking. And then something tells me to worship. I feel the Lord put it on my heart. And this is because whenever I worship, I kid you not, I can feel the stronghold fall like immediately. Whenever I worship, I cannot even begin to explain how quickly everything falls. The walls fall, the blockages fall, and I can just see and hear God so clearly after worship. When I take my eyes off of myself, off of my situation, off of what I currently want to see results in, and I turn it to the Lord and remember that the only reason why I want to see results in the first place is so I could devote it back to the kingdom. Like that switch, it flips and it's like I can see clearly now the rain is gone. So I'm worshiping. I'm worshiping. And something tells me to worship all the way up until 9 p.m., which is when I decided I was going to record the video. Yeah, super late. I was like, I have nothing. So I need time because I haven't been spending time with the Lord. I need time to really just get in this. I need to get in this. I need to search. I need time. So I dedicate, I think it was, I either started at 2 p.m. or sometime before 4 p.m. It was between either 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. that I started worshiping, and I was going to worship all the way up to 9 p.m. So I'm worshiping, I'm worshiping, I'm worshiping. And when I tell you nothing is coming, I mean nothing is coming. Now, I was feeling his presence, but then the time kept ticking, the time kept ticking, the time kept ticking, the time kept ticking. And I started to pay attention to the clock. I was looking at the clock constantly, like, I should have it by now. Like, I should have the video idea by now. I should feel the Lord impressing this on me. I should feel what He wants me to say and do. So it started to slowly, as the hours ticked by, push away from just thinking about Him and what He wants and what He's done for me and the life that I owe to Him. It started being so much less focused on Him and so much more focused on what I need for Him to provide for me to make this video. And so I'm getting stressed, I'm getting anxious. And then, like a lot of us will understand, I start to get hit with sleep. You know what I mean? Like, you are pushing towards the Lord, you're trying to break strongholds, you're trying to get to God, and then out of nowhere, this spirit of drowsiness comes on you. And it's like out of nowhere, you're about to talk about something that has some serious weight in the kingdom, or you're about to go deeper in that prayer, or you're about to go deeper in that worship, and out of nowhere, fatigue, like pure fatigue. And it's like right before that, well, and you're fighting it, you're fighting it, you're fighting it. Oh my gosh, it's one of the worst feelings. So that comes upon me. um but I've made a habit that whenever I'm dealing with that, what I'll do is I'll put my head to the pillow and I'll worship while I sleep. And I know that sounds crazy, what, worship while you sleep? But yes, i've I've learned to weaponize that drowsiness as communication from God. So what I'll do is I'll keep worshiping, I'll lay down, I'll keep worshiping, um keep singing the songs, keep singing the songs. And what has happened for me on multiple occasions, like this has happened on multiple occasions, I'll be laying down, I'll be worshiping, I nod off, and then I'm awakened, like I wake up and I have something on my mind that is so crystal clear. Like that's happened for me for videos. Like I haven't understood what I was supposed to do um for a video that was coming up, and then I fell asleep and I was just suddenly woken up while worshiping, and it's like there and it's crystal clear, and verses are there too to support it. So I started to like weaponize that drowsiness, and ask God to speak to me even when I'm dreaming, um, and to put things on my mind. And I think that also that really helps, not to get too sidetracked, but I also think that that really helps for anybody else out there that struggles with that level of drowsiness. I also think that it helps to clear your mind, because when you're awake, there are a lot of things that your mind can race towards, but when you're sleeping, your mind's not really racing and thinking about all the things of life. It kind of gets to slow down and put your body in a calm state. So it's easier for things to get through to you. So for anybody else out there that may be struggling with sudden drowsiness coming upon you while you're reading your word, praying, fasting, any of that stuff, just ask God that even in your drowsiness, even in moments where you feel weak and you feel like you can't connect to Him, that He would speak to you in those moments and weaponize those moments for the sake of furthering His plan for you in His kingdom. But yeah, so that's what I personally do to combat that drowsiness, and I did that. I woke up like multiple times, like just from hearing the music, and it was still nothing. Like it was nothing. So I've begun worship. I felt close to Him, started to pay attention to the clock, realized time was ticking down, stopped focusing on Him so much, and started focusing more on what He can provide for me for the sake of the video. Um, then I was attacked with drowsiness at the same time. So not only were my eyes taken away from Him um, because of my own desires, but it was also taken away from Him because I was struggling with drowsiness to fight it off. And then even after the drowsiness that God typically weaponizes in order to give me certain revelations, like to slow my body down so that way I could get certain revelations, I still was not receiving it. I still was not receiving it. I still was not receiving anything. So it was, we're at the buzzer beater now because nine is literally right around the corner. Nine is like 2 minutes away. Like, no, I'm kidding. It was like 10 minutes away. So I'm like, okay, let me just get up for these last 10 minutes and worship, 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 worship. And again, I'm saying to myself, I only have 10 minutes before I said that I was going to have this thing in the bag, that I was supposed to be ready to go into this thing, and nothing's here yet. It's on my mind, stressed, anxious, all the feelings. But then I keep telling my mind, I hear something keep telling me, like, stop thinking about anything. There is nothing more important than your relationship with God, and that is first and foremost. And through that, everything else will flow. Through that relationship you have with God, everything else flows. The plan isn't anywhere else but in God's hands. So the only way that you're going to be able to get to that plan is if you first get to a relationship with him so he can communicate it with you. Stop paying attention to anything. So I'm telling myself this, and I start to really fight and call God to push away that sense of urgency that I've put on myself so that way I can focus on him. And so we're now down to like 3 minutes. We're literally down to like 3 or 4 minutes. And I'm like, oh, I have 3 or 4 minutes left. And I push the idea back and I'm like, no, but God is a God that comes through. It doesn't matter if I have 30 seconds before it hits nine. If I was called to praise for the next 5 hours, then that's what I'm going to do up until God tells me something. I will be praising. And I start to feel his presence so strong, because I completely, even just for 3 to 4 minutes, dropped the world. I dropped the world. I dropped the world to think about him. And at 8:59, I look at my phone and I realize that for the past 5 hours, 5 or so hours that I was worshiping, the entire time I was listening to Wait on God. If you don't know what that song is, I'll probably tag it in the description. I wasn't even fully paying attention to the lyrics. Let's read the lyrics. Oh boy. I don't believe in fairy tales. I guess I've outgrown them. But that doesn't mean that I don't believe that there's something bigger than me. Because I've seen it in a hospital room when the doctor said, sorry, there's nothing more we can do. Well, it wasn't through. I've never seen a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow, but I've got a promise I can hold in the middle of the struggle. God, if you said it, you'll perform it. May not be how I want you to, but here's what I'll do. I'm going to wait on you. I'm going to wait on you. I've tasted your goodness. I'll trust in your promise. I'm going to wait on you. Yes, I'm going to wait on you. I've tasted your goodness. I'll trust in your promise. I'm going to wait on you. I know you've ordered every step. Yeah, you are the author, and there's no predicting what is next. But you hold the future, and all the questions, they come second to the one I know is true. Yeah, you've always been true. So I'm going to wait on you. Oh my gosh, I'm listening. I'm listening to this song for the past 5 hours, but because I kept allowing my mind to bounce to other things, because I kept because I kept focusing on making this video that you're watching right now, I couldn't zero in on the message that was right in front of me from God. I'm literally listening to a song about waiting on God while God has me waiting on him for this video. If it's one thing God's gonna do is he gonna be funny. Like, and it's the last minute that I look down at my phone and I'm like, oh, do you see how our God works? He is never late. He is always on time. The last minute, the buzzer beater, he was there. And all it took that whole time was to zero out of myself and zero into him and his purposes. And from there, he can show you the plan. But the only way he can open your eyes to the truth is if you first go to the source of truth, which is him. And now I know that this isn't necessarily something that you can do in 10 seconds. It's something that may take a little bit of practice, if you will. So practice waiting on God. The next time you feel like ending your prayer because you feel as though you've said everything that you needed to say, wait on God. If you've heard nothing from God that entire prayer, sit there in silence and wait on him. Say your piece, but then allow God to finish that conversation. Wait on him. Wait on him to show up. Wait on him to give you an answer. Next time you're driving alone in your car, how about you just practice being still? How about you don't cut on the radio and you drive and you ask God to talk to you and you wait on him to do so? Practice stillness. Practice being still until God reveals his plans. Now, this is our verse for today. It's Isaiah 40, verse 31, which says, "But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." I think that verse closes us out perfectly. Please feel free in the comment section to let me know, how does this verse relate to you? How does this verse matter to your testimony and to your life? And yeah, I think that that's everything. So, as per usual, I'm not going to do all that, but